Hello and welcome back to another Space Engineers showcase video. In today's video, we're looking at a very fancy spaceship called the DarkFyre, which is this lovely thing right here. So this is originally a cargo ship that was refitted with a bunch of thrusters and guns to make it more multi-purpose. It has a lot of weight to it, it's got all types of thrusters, rocket launchers, Gatling guns, Gatling turrets, and a fairly sizey interior featuring crew quarters as well. So pressing F10 and finding the DarkFyre in the spawn menu, there it is. This thing says it's 16,884 small blocks, requiring the Sparks of the Future DLC and the Decorative Block number 2 DLC packs. If I was to paste this in, we'll be able to see its proper size, which is only 8,415 blocks. With that all done and out of the way, let's come all the way around to the front and go around the outside. I have spawned in a gravity generator down there to make sure it's a lot more smoother when walking around this ship, because it does get a bit janky without it. But yes, at the very front here, this is what we get. We've got a camera front and center with a rotating light and an ore detector. And behind that, we've got our lovely glass cockpit where we can see two control seats with a bunch of transparent LCD blocks with a load of scripts attached onto them. As we move around the side, we can see a bunch of Gatling guns at the bottom there. Then moving around, we've got a lot of very fancy blockwork in a dark greyish colour, along with some letter blocks spelling out the name of the ship, along with a secondary camera to view on the side when you're connecting up to that connector, and a small logo right there for the company who designed the ship. Just below that, there are some more thrusters. We've got an air vent to suck in oxygen to make sure we fill up our tanks, hydrogen thrusters, our fancy reskinned ion thrusters. Then as we move along, round to here, we're going to see even more thrusters. Over here, a bunch more hydrogen thrusters, and over in this bit, we've got some unfinished blocks which are just acting like some small fake vents. Moving across on the wing here, we've got some rocket launchers all set up together to be able to launch in a tight cluster to make sure whatever you hit is going to really feel it. Moving along the wing there, even more reskinned ion thrusters which do look bloody fantastic compared to the vanilla ones. Absolutely love that design. Yes, we've got yellowy orange blocks, we've got our silver blocks just making a nice little rim around there. And as we move along to the edge of the wing, more hydrogen thrusters, we can see atmospheric thrusters sticking out the bottom there. And all the way around to here, we've got the side of our wing where we've got a red light sitting on there. If we come to the opposite side, we then have a green light, which seems to be a common theme with ships. Not too sure why they have red on one side, green on the other. It's always been a little bit confusing, but I've never looked into it. Anyway, coming around to the back of our wings, we're going to see even more thrusters. Let's see if we can bring the light back around. In fact, no. I'll leave the sun where it is so we can see the glow of the thrusters. So we've got two large ion thrusters. We then got some smaller hydrogen thrusters. We can see a large hydrogen thruster sitting at the bottom there. And as we come closer to the wings and look along, we've got a bunch of batteries. And there's the back of our rocket launchers. If I just reverse all the way out and turn around over to here, we can see some conveyors coming across to our hydrogen thrusters. And as we move all the way around to the back, this is what we get on this side. So we've got two large hydrogen thrusters and 5 small hydrogen thrusters. The back of a container with some fancy blockwork on it. Let's put my light on for the moment. Then pulling away and coming over to here, we can see inside the ship, which is going to be a small passageway that goes up to our captain's quarters, and down there will be to our crew sleeping quarters. Yes, as we move further along there, there's the opposite side. We've got more hydrogen thrusters, and right down here at the very back is our doorway to get in and out, with a camera situated just above it. If we come down and underneath first of all and turning off my light, there we are, we can see some more glow of our fancy new skinned blocks from the Sparks of the Future update. And we can see our atmospheric thrusters, our hydrogen thrusters, our green and red light, the bottom of our ship which has got some landing gear just neatly tucked inside it, just a little bit away from the body to make sure we don't get damaged if we clunk down on uneven surface. And as we move along to the front, more hydrogen thrusters, more great blockwork. Then over to here, we can just see inside some batteries where our landing gear is just sticking out like so. And there is the bottom of our Gatling guns that lead us all the way around to the front. Coming up and above our glass bridge, or cockpit, whatever you want to call it, we then come past some more reskinned ion thrusters. Let's turn the camera all the way around, and then moving along like so. That's where I'm standing. There's some more ion thrusters, zooming all the way out, even more ion thrusters, some more great block work, and a turret that sits on top, just to blast those pesky drones that get behind you. And that's what it looks like. It's a bloody fantastic design all the way around this ship. So that is a very brief around the outside, and it does once again look fantastic. So just grabbing my character, let's go on the inside. Now once again, I'll just remind you that we have a gravity generator down there which I spawned in, because the ship does not have a gravity generator. I'm using that just to avoid the awkward walking when going around the interior. But anyway, this is the door to get in and out. We've got a lovely bluish glow, which might just be because of the skybox. But opening it up, we come to this intermittent room right here, which is essentially an airlock. We've got a lot of cargo containers being spread all the way around. None of these are connected up to anything, so we're just going to be using this as storage for any kind of goods that we don't need. And we do have thrusters here, which once again are not connected onto anything, but are there if you need it. So in the event your thrusters got damaged, you can just grind away that, take away the goods, and then go over to the thrusters that are damaged and repair it up. So it's a very neat way of getting around not putting the resources in a container, and if you just want to have the resources for a thruster, container, gyroscope or Gatling gun, you can just walk up to these and grind it away. It's a very nice idea, and it does add a lot to the decoration. On this side, we've got a large hydrogen thruster with some fake clamps going around it, and we can see a sneaky air vent over there to make sure we're not going to suffocate one inside. So let's turn on my helmet, like so. So, moving forwards, through this doorway, we've got a small access point right there, just in case we need it. We can open up, turn around and close that, because we don't have an auto door and airlock script on here, and we're instantly greeted by our small hydrogen tanks and a lovely green glow. So walking forwards, this is what we get, a bunch of conveyors going all the way around the side of this ramp. Coming up to here, we're greeted by some orange support pillars, which then lead all the way across to our cockpit, a survival kit to respawn on and to recharge yourselves, a chair to have a little rest, two programmable blocks. One is for the weapon salvo, which will make the rocket launchers fire on a pattern. Up here is going to be for our visual information system. Not too sure what that is, but it's there. And then turning around, we can see conveyors going all the way along the side of this room. We've got some nice lighting in here, so we're not going to be in the darkness while flying this. We do have to walk around the edge though, all the way around to here. Then we get across to this doorway, which will then lead over to here to our crew quarters. And in our crew quarters, we've got some cargo containers to store your personal goods, a LCD screen displaying our inventory manager so we know exactly what is in our ship. Coming around to here, some fake beds, so our crewman number 3 and number 2 beds. Turning around, they've got a little desk setup which is made out of random blocks and some carbon fiber regular blocks. On the table round here, I keep snapping onto stuff. Got then this over here, which is just a little magazine for you to read, and a small cup which has been made out of a rotor. Moving further along, we then come over to our captain's quarters, which comes into this little intermittent room which we saw earlier, where we can turn around and not too much is going on. We can see an oxygen tank right there, some more batteries. And then coming up to this door, this will then take us to our captain's quarters, and it appears I've just gone out of range of the gravity generator. Over here we've got ourselves a fake little toilet. We've got a small bin down there. That is presumably the toilet, and that is your toilet roll. And we also have, whoopsie, what's going on here? Let's just come and, there we go. We've got ourselves a button right there, which then make a fake little doorway to give yourself some privacy. But we can then go and turn that off. Walking around over to here, this is our captain's bed, made out of some rounded carbon fiber blocks for our pillows, and some half blocks which have been used as our bed. We've got some wooden blocks there which are acting as either a table or a support to hold the bed up. We've got some LCD screens over there which are acting as a small poster with some grassy or trees or even moss on them. Turning around, we've got some cargo containers to store your personal goods. And around over to here, we've got a chair which is sit on and do your work. We've got Dune on our little tablet over there, and we've got our computer to do our work. And we can see over there a small access point which is going to be for our nuclear reactor. Yes, that's some very nice stuff over there. Turning around and coming back through here, all the way down and around, like so, past our crew quarters, it's time to come to the front. So all the way over to here, opening up this doorway, this is our cockpit, our bridge even. We've got 2 control seats. The back one doesn't have too much going on with it, but we can look around at our scripts at the front, where we've got Blogman's Fancy Flight, got another LCD screen with the logo of our ship's design, and our radar system to know if there's any pesky enemies approaching. Then looking around, not too much is going on here. On our hotbar we have nothing else going on, so we can hop out that and come over to the front. Looking around here, this is what we get, some more LCD screens and programmable blocks. Looking around and up, we've got a good view all the way around us. So number 1 is going to be to fire our Gatling guns, which are all situated below the cockpit. So there we go, a nice lot of damage will be dealt by all of them. Number 2 is for our camera that we saw at the very start of the video, which is just above our Gatling guns. Number 3 will be for the camera inside our cockpit to get a slightly more raised view outside our window. Number 4 is for our rocket launchers that sit on our wings, so if we fire them, we'll then have our salvo kick in and make them go off on a nice timer rather than all at once. And that's all our ammo gone because I'm on survival mode. 6 is to stockpile our tanks on and off so we can use that to recharge our tanks from a station. Number 8 will be to turn off our hydrogen thrusters, but unfortunately that seems to have bugged out a bit when pasting this in. Number 9 is a similar button to 8 where we just turn off our atmospheric thrusters when we don't need them. And on tab number 2, we then got a programmable block for Blarg's Fancy Flying. So we can activate that, and I'm not too sure what it actually does, but there you go. Number 2 is for our battery to auto or recharge. Number 3 is to put the batteries into discharge or auto. And number 4 is simply to switch them over to auto as a master button. Number 6 is for our ion thrusters on and off, so we can turn that off like so, and turn them back on. 7, 8 and 9, I'm not too sure what these are, but they say drive hydrogen, so I'm presuming they're going to be something about the hydrogen thrusters, but it's broken when pasting it in currently. If I was to guess, it would be for the cruise control where we could switch off the hydrogen thrusters at the front to allow us to glide along through space without using hydrogen to slow ourselves down. Number 8 would probably be to turn them back on, and number 9 might be a master control to turn them all off. That is just guesswork. Tab number 3, 4 and 5 are empty, so now it's time for a quick little thruster test. So going forwards, this is what we get. We are reasonably slow, but bear in mind we were designed to be a cargo ship to transfer goods from, say, a planet to a space station nearby. Slowing on the other hand is pretty slow, but if we were to do a 180 and boost forwards, this should help us slow at a much more faster rate. And there we go, that's a lot more better, and will save us from crashing into a station. Going left and going right, we are quite slow, but still pretty reasonable for the sheer weight of this ship. Going down, we are quite slow, and going up, we are a lot faster than everything else it feels. And then wiggling my mouse around, this is what we get. We've got a nice amount of weight on there, but not enough to hinder your position when aiming this. So there is a little bit of drag, but yeah, it's not too much and does suit this size of ship. But with that all done and out the way, there's not too much else to talk about on this ship. It's a fantastic design, and I don't really want to blow it up because it is such a nice design, and it would be a shame for it to get destroyed. So yes, there'll be a link to it in the description below if you do want to download and play around with it yourself. I highly recommend you do, and there'll also be a link to the Skybox if you're interested in using that in your own world. Yes, thank you all for watching, and I'll be back with another video somewhere soon. Bye bye.